When I was in college, we were asked a question: what Disney prince or princess would we want to be or be with? 100% of the students said Aladdin or Jasmine, meaning the Aladdin line. Now, I've seen a video where somebody was talking about some of the issues with Aladdin being playing into certain racist stereotypes, but the person still liked it. And one of his main claims was he doesn't have that many heroes as somebody of the uh, Asian persuasion that's not, say, Chinese or Japanese. I believe he was Indian, but Arab Indian, not 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 that close, but also not, again, Korea, China, Japan, and even then, Korea's just now starting to get more attention when it comes to pop culture. One of the biggest things that I think gives them credibility when they're criticizing Aladdin is the line in the song, they'll cut off your nose or they'll cut off your ear because they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home. And then the attempting of chopping off Aladdin's hands when that's not something that was as popular in the Arab region as people think it was, supposedly. And in fact, I think I've read that Europeans did the same thing. And we often overlook that. Those, I think, are valid criticisms. Those that I can kind of see it. The ones that I think are less so is using Tom Cruise as partial inspiration for the design of Aladdin. I think it was less of here's a leading man who at the time appeared to be a similar age of the character we're looking for. And the fact that Jasmine, even though the model was a little bit older, was actually the sister of one of the animators. I don't think they necessarily looked white, especially with that artistic style that was a very specific art style, and they looked like they belonged within that world, within that region. They weren't, I think the paint they used for the skin color was not that much different. And I do think some of the facial designs did come off as more attempting to be Arabian than white. But there's another aspect that I have that's one of the reasons why I love Aladdin. He was a superhero and he was in a place that did not look like Europe. And I think that made him stand out. He was an action adventure hero in a Disney princess movie that's not that common. Yes, uh, Prince Eric from Sleeping Beauty did slay a dragon, but it wasn't a mostly action adventure story. But there is another character that Aladdin does borrow heavily from: Robin Hood. Now, you might claim that the Disney Robin Hood character were all animals, but it was based off the European story. And it borrowed heavily from Cinderella. But instead of just, here, we're going to put you in a magic dress, he became a prince. He had to stop a villain himself. And even Aladdin helped, or I'm sorry, even Jasmine helped him solve the villain. So she was an active princess and not just a, I'm a happy, good little girl. Oops, I'm in trouble. Have the random man come in and save me. I'm not hating on Cinderella. I'm not hating on Sleeping Beauty. I'm just pointing out that it was a very different story. And I think some of the things they're talking about, like the social commentary, being in a story that was not white, was them trying to up their game. And I think they did an amazing job. There's a reason that Aladdin got his own animated series. And while some of the cultural insensitivities can and should be criticized, I think most people today remember Aladdin fondly because it was an action adventure Disney Prince Princess story that played things differently. Now, uh, Little Mermaid. Here's a girl that was having problems with her father. He wasn't her stepfather, and he wasn't an abusive jerk. Well, that's debatable, but he did love his daughter in a way that a lot of Disney princess movies, the parental figures were weak and lame. And also, Beauty and the Beast had social commentary where Belle was basically told to shut up and be a good little girl. So even the European Disney stories were trying to up their game on social commentary at the time. So what it comes down to is, I'm sorry that Disney feels like they can't release the Aladdin animated series, because here was an Arabic superhero that we can't do because of debatable and highly questionable cultural insensitivities that may diminish the overall beauty of what Aladdin tried to do and what I think it largely was successful at. So while I respect that some people have severe criticisms of it and maybe not the best rep not the best possible representation of Arab and some Indian influence culture, I still think it's an amazing movie that Disney did up their game when they made it. And here's one more minor Orientalism. Aladdin in the original Arabian Nights stories was an Arab. He was Chinese. The story was told by an Arabic queen to her king, trying not to get killed, but Aladdin was Chinese. Jasmine was Chinese.